This is Kelso Sturgeon. Thank you very much for joining me for a recap of the weekend and last week in the NFL and college football at my College of Advanced Football Handicapping. You know, we're going to discuss many things here today, it's one of these things where, you know, this past weekend I learned a really hard lesson on the Alabama-Texas A&M game. I had Alabama laying the 8.5, whatever it was, and really thought the game was in the bag, and then Texas A&M goes on an offensive tear and scores the touchdown that beat the cover with 15 seconds left to go, which always drives home something that we must never forget. The game is not over until it's over. Forget about the fat ladies singing or not singing. You can get beat in the last second of a game, and I'm sure that many of you have. Anyway, just was a tough way to lose what I thought was a very important game. But that's, life in the world of either laying or taking the points. You know, this week is a big week, and it kicks off tonight, Monday night, with a 50-unit play on the Pittsburgh at Cincinnati game. I'll get back to that in just a second here. On Thursday night, another NFL play, 50 units, Kansas City at Philadelphia. And, you know, looking at tonight's Monday night game between the Steelers and the Bengals, you know, in my mind, you've got to ask yourself a basic question. Was the dreadful performance of Pittsburgh in its opening game, a loss to Tennessee, representative of what the team is? You know, I take the position that maybe Pittsburgh is not quite that bad. Keep in mind they only had 32 yards rushing in the game, 193 yards of total offense. That's hardly by NFL standard, even average. But, you know, they're probably a little bit better than that, you know, but I don't think they're much better. You know, I'm looking at a lot of teams in the NFL and I'm saying to myself, you know, this team is not what it was. The New England Patriots topped that list, followed by the Carolina Panthers. You know, I kind of wonder if the Dallas Cowboys are all they're cracked up to be. Everybody, gets high on the Cowboys every season, and then it seems to all fall apart. They certainly didn't look very impressive in their loss at Kansas City, which, by the way, is off to a 2-0 start. I also wonder about the Detroit Lions, who lost at Arizona. The Lions added Reggie Bush and looked like they might at last be the complete team, but, you know, they don't look the part either. I think we're going to have to wait another couple of weeks to draw conclusions onto what many of these teams really are. Two teams that we don't have to wait on in drawing conclusions are the mighty Seattle Seahawks and the Denver Broncos. If I could make a package deal right now, I'd make them 4-1 to meet in the Super Bowl. Both these teams seem to stand out. Seattle in the NFL and Denver in the in the NFC and Denver in the AFC. You know, it's interesting that this past week, you know, 4 underdogs won straight up in the NFL, which is kind of unusual. The NFC East, which is always known for its power, with Dallas and the Giants and Philadelphia and Washington, was 0-4 last week. Does not bode well for that division, and maybe we need to pay attention right there. The one thing we do know and was reconfirmed is that Jacksonville is absolutely one terrible NFL team. You know, in the opening week of the season, they had 171 yards of total offense and a 28-2 loss to Kansas City. This past Sunday, they were at the Oakland Raiders, had 34 yards rushing, 214 yards of total offense. Quarterback was sacked 5 times, and they got buried again. This team is close to being non-competitive in the NFL, and I'm not surprised if it goes 0-16 for the season. There's nothing there. There's no offensive line. There's no quarterback. Less than average defense, and it just, you know, to win at the NFL, you better have strength at almost every position and in every group of players, whether it be the special teams, the offensive line, or whatever. Jacksonville has absolutely none of these, and they will be lucky to win a football game this season. Now, in the colleges, in watching Alabama, the one thing that impressed me about Alabama was its offensive line. McCarron had all day long to relax, spot his receivers, and throw the football. Very, very impressive. That was the best blocking offensive line at Alabama that I've seen since Joe Namath was playing there decades ago. This is a tremendous offensive line. But, I dropped Alabama down a notch in my top 10 ratings this week, because I don't know how this team can survive with the defense that it has. I mean, the defense is really bad. Now, it may get better, but right now, and I realize that Johnny Manziel is an outstanding quarterback for Texas A&M, but he just made it look too easy. And you can score in Alabama, and that will be the Crimson Tide's Achilles heel. They can go through the season undefeated, and they may just do that until they get to Georgia in the championship game, and I just do predict that Georgia will wax them. Now, here is my top 10 in the colleges. I'll post them on the website a little bit later. Louisville is still number 1. Georgia is number 2. Oregon number 3. Might be the best of them all. We'll have to see. Alabama number 4. Clemson 5. Florida State 6. Texas A&M is 7. Stanford is 8. And South Carolina 9. And Washington 10. Washington might be the sleeper to go the distance in the Pac-10. Once again, without drawing any conclusions on how good any of the college teams are or how bad some of the NFL teams are, I'm still prepared to change my power ratings, and I will do that later today. You're going to be a little bit surprised how I position some of these teams. Once again, I thank you very much for watching, and remember, as I always say, the less you bet, the more you lose when you win, and keep in mind that all my selections are available on this website and toll free at 1-800-755-2255, all major credit cards accepted.